And so welcome again, good afternoon. And we're going to have the swearing in first, and then we'll start our board meeting.
Okay. Good afternoon, and if you could just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dr. Roberto Zamora,
I, Dr. Roberto Zamora,
do solemnly swear
that
I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of School Board of Trustees, Place 5
of School Board of Trustees, Place 5
of the State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to say a few words, if it's okay. First of all, I noticed, we bring the Bible in, and I just want to start off by saying I want to thank God for the opportunity to serve this community and this district as a member of the board. I want to thank my family. 2 members of my family were here, as you saw them, Roberto Zamora, Dr. Zamora, and Coach Zamora, Rene. And then I want to thank the board especially for, I appreciate your demonstration of confidence by selecting me to be a part of the board, and I look forward to working with you for the success of our students and success of our district. I know that we have a lot of work to do, but that's what it's about. And thank you so much. I appreciate again your vote of confidence. Thank you, and thanks all of you. And just I know that all of you here are part of the district in different positions, and just to let you know that all of you are an important person and an important member of this district. And I trust that what we do together will help us get to where we want to be as a district. Thank you so much for the work that you do and for the work that you do to serve our students. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Mr. Zamora. We do have cake and punch for our visitors in celebration of Dr. Zamora's swearing-in ceremony.
I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Welcome, Dr. Zamora. Roll call, please.
Alex Cantú present.
Roberto Zamora present.
Mary Hernandez present.
Espio Ochoa present.
Nereida Cantú present.
Alda Benavides present. Dr. Sainz, I do declare quorum. You may proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Dr. Benavides. Can we all please stand? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comments?
We have no public comments.
If we have no public comments, we'll move on to approval of minutes, approval of budget work session number 5 for May 18. Do I have a motion?
I so move to approve minutes from 1 through 4.
Motion has been made, second by Dr. Zamora, for approval of minutes 1 through 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, that was you? Okay, it was Mr. Cantu. I'm sorry. Motion passes unanimously. We're going to have to speak loud with these microphones. Okay, next we have Superintendent's report. We're going to start with the enrollment report. Dr. Sainz?
Thank you. The enrollment report is dated May 26, 2020. On this date, we had 11,316 elementary students, 12,985 secondary students, for a total of 24,301 students, which is 2,398 less students. The next item is recognitions, and if I could please have Dr. Benavides and Ms. Hernandez step to the front so that you can help us with our first two recognitions. Recognition of Juarez Lincoln High School art students Millie Reyes and Andrea Garcia. We have Mr. Ruben Adame, our head fine arts administrator, that will do this recognition.
They're coming from the back room, so they'll be here shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Sines, members of the school board, members of the community, district administrators. Texas High School Visual Art Scholastic Event, better known as VASE, celebrated its 25th anniversary in 2019. The first VASE event was held in 1994 with just over 400 student entries. After 25 years, high school VASE entries numbered around 35,000 students. Students create artworks, write about their creative processes and understanding of visual art, and articulate information about their artwork during an interview with a VASE juror who evaluates their work using a standard VASE rubric. Tonight, we are recognizing two young talented artists from Juarez Lincoln High School that advanced to the 2022 VASE state competition by qualifying in their regional VASE contest earlier this year. A huge congratulations go out to our Juarez Lincoln High School art students and their teachers for competing on April 29th and 30th at the state VASE competition in San Marcos, Texas at San Marcos High School. Please help us in celebrating our Juarez Lincoln High School art students who represented LJISD with distinction and pride. Our first student being recognized tonight is Millie Reyes, 2022 VASE State Medallion recipient and receiving an exemplary rating for her artwork submission entitled Peaceful Silent Space. Here with Millie is her mother, Maritza Reyes, and her art teacher, Miss Ileana Rodriguez. Next, we're recognizing Andrea Garcia, 2022 VASE State participant receiving a superior rating for her artwork submission entitled LOL, It's About You. Here with Andrea is her mother, Gabriela Reina, and her art teacher, Miss Belinda Diego. And principal at Juarez Lincoln High School, and all his support for the art program is Mr. Ricardo Estrada.
Any other family members here for Millie and Andrea, please stand so that we can recognize you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, ladies. Ms. Diego, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Adame. Next, we have recognition of La Jolla High School baseball team for advancing to the regional semifinal round. Coach Victor Garza, athletic director, will do this recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Sines. Good afternoon, Madam President, Superintendent, Board of Trustees, Administration, and community, and those watching online. It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce this afternoon the Boys of Summer. And this year of all years, that little saying went true because they did play into summer. after graduation, and they did an outstanding job for La Jolla High School and for LJISD representing us at the state level. Today we're presenting the 2022 regional semifinalists from La Jolla High School. We'll start with senior Nathan Perez. Senior J.R. Ramos. Senior Eliab Gonzalez. Sophomore Jacob Martinez. Sophomore R.J. Flores. Sophomore Lucas Zambrano. Senior Jose Guti Gutierrez. Senior Damian Pruneda. Sophomore Nicholas Valderas. Senior Joshua Martinez. Sophomore Roel Garcia. Sophomore Gustavo Gonzalez. Freshman Isaac Sayavedra. Sophomore Kevin Flores. Head coach for the Mighty Coyotes, Coach Mario Flores. Coach Anthony Luna. Coach Eric Longoria. The Coyotes were 24-9 on record. Not present are several of the team members that have other things in their schedule. I do want to recognize one gentleman. I just got this news a couple of minutes ago, up for the media, the Monitor, Brownsville Herald newspaper, baseball player of the year for the Rio Grande Valley, J.C. Gutierrez. So I do want to give that recognition. And the gentlemen that did not get to be here, they are definitely appreciated and thanked. Also, we have our La Jolla High School principal present, Mr. Antonio Cano. With this, the La Jolla Coyotes, under the direction of Coach Flores in his 6 years, is his 6 consecutive years in the playoffs. And with that, we congratulate him and staff for the leadership that they do out there. And not only that, for the accomplishments our student athletes do in their classroom. We thank you, Coach and staff and mighty La Jolla Coyote baseball team.
Will the parents of all the Mighty Coyote players please stand so that we can recognize you? Thank you, parents, for all your help and support throughout the season.
Thank you. Real quick, I'm sorry. We left
The trophy. Okay, so one more picture.
Regroup.
Thank you, Dr. Benavides and Ms. Hernandez. If we could please have Ms. Esperanza Espi Ochoa and Dr. Cantu help us with the next two recognitions. Recognition of La Jolla Independent School District first 3 female bus drivers. Mr. Raul Gonzalez, our transportation director, will do this recognition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Dr. Science, Superintendent of Schools, administration, and distinguished guests. In the year 1975-76, La Jolla ISD had a total of 13 bus drivers. 3 of them were females. Their names are Ms. Elena Martinez, here present with us, Ms. Petra Garza, and Ms. Ernestina Nena Gonzalez. They each played a unique role for the transportation department. Ms. Petra Garza was the only female bus driver driving a 72-passenger school bus. Ms. Elena Martinez and Ms. Nena Gonzalez each drove a special needs bus. Neither Ms. Martinez nor Ms. Gonzalez had a bus aide. These 2 ladies played both roles of driver and bus aide. These 3 pioneer ladies opened the door for a department that now employs over 100 females in different capacities, from dispatchers, clerks, bus aides, and bus drivers. Ms. Petra Garza will train bus drivers on how to use the equipment located on the buses properly and on the proper operating procedures of the bus in general. School buses were standard and had no power steering. It took a special person to drive these buses, and these 3 ladies certainly fit the profile. A lot of the training and skills were picked up behind the wheel because there were no set procedures on how to properly operate a bus. These ladies' hard work, commitment, and dedication to the students they serve is to be commended and admired. Their names of Ms. Elena Martinez, Ms. Petra Garza, and Ms. Ernestina Nena Gonzalez will live in history for many generations to come. The families of these drivers are in the audience, and we would like to recognize them at this time. First, we would like to begin with Ms. Elena Martinez. Her children are Rosita Morales, Rebecca Villarreal, Daniel de la Rosa Jr., David de la Rosa, Dalila Ruiz. Her grandchildren and great-grandchildren are in the audience. If you would please stand and be recognized. Will you please come and join your mother for a picture? Will you please join your mother for a picture?
All of Ms. Martinez's family can come and join the picture.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez, for what you did for our community. The family members of Ms. Ernestina Nena Gonzalez, may she rest in peace, Mr. Erasmo Gonzalez, Larry Gonzalez, Lucy Gonzalez, Teofilo Gonzalez, and David Gonzalez could not be here due to them living out of town. They were not able to be with us. But on behalf of the family, Ms. Dalila Ruiz will be receiving the token of appreciation on behalf of the Gonzalez family. I did put that picture back, Dr. Science, the one that I borrowed to make those.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, ma'am. Also present. Also present with us is the family of Ms. Petra Garza. Will the children of Ms. Petra Garza, Ms. Linda Garza, one of our current bus drivers, Mr. Joe Henry Garza, Ms. Rosa Garza, Apolinar Garza, and Valdemar Garza Jr., please stand and be recognized and come forward to accept your mom's recognition. Also in the audience are the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of Ms. Petra Garza. Please come forward.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. At this time, we will have Mr. Joe Henry Garza say a few words on behalf of the
Yes. he's
Garza
introduced.
family.
Yes.
Mr. Garza.
Tony, should he use that microphone? Thank you, Tony.
Good evening. Board members, staff, and everybody else, good evening. Thank you for being here. If I forget somebody, I apologize. I wanted to say that my mom was a very dedicated bus driver, just like the rest of the bus drivers were. They broke the ice here in La Jolla. That says a lot about them. Because this used to be a job which was a men's job. And here are these ladies come into this men's job and work as hard, if not harder, than the men. Because we all know that for a woman to show that she can do the job, lots of times she has to work twice or three times harder. I can tell you that that is what my mom did. And all the other ladies or the women that were driving these buses. It wasn't easy for them, but they learned the job and they did the best they could. I remember my mom getting up real early in the morning. She was gone. So we had to get up and dress ourselves. And if we didn't, well, we'd get it when she got home. Because she left instructions to get up and get on the bus when the bus came by. And my brothers and sisters are very aware of what they all had to do every morning. So thank you. Thank you for recognizing these first 3 women as bus drivers. And my wish and our family's wish is that someday you can name a school after them, because they were the pioneers, the women pioneers of the La Joya ISD bus drivers. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, Mr. Garza.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Saenz. On behalf of the Transportation Department, thank you for the opportunity to recognize these 3 amazing individuals. It is an honor to be here and representing them and thanking them for their service. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gonzalez. Next, we have recognition of La Joya ISD Child Nutrition Services Department. Mr. Rick Villarreal, our Assistant Superintendent for Operations, will do this recognition.
So everybody here. Okay, so good evening, distinguished board members, Dr. Saenz, and guests. It gives me great pleasure to give a big thank you to Mr. AJ Chapa and Mr. Hernandez and the CNS department, who served as frontline heroes as they adapted and adjusted seamlessly during the pandemic. They transitioned from feeding in the lunch lines to feeding in various creative ways, and all with a smile on their face and a caring heart for our kids, never complaining, for the betterment of our students. Now that the pandemic is close to an end, these same loving hearts are eager to transition back to the National School Lunch Program, which will provide better food for our kids and offer more choices as well. So without further ado, a big thank you to you all. And on behalf of our Operations Department and the board, thank you. Come on up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Hi, Jorge. How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for all your work. Thank you, Ms. Ochoa and Dr. Cantu. And now Dr. Zamora and Mr. Alex Cantu can help us with the next 2 recognitions. We'll go on to recognition of La Joya ISD Custodial Department.
Again, another big shout out and thank you to Mr. AJ Chapa and Mr. Lando Nacianceno and the custodial department, which also served as frontline heroes in various high-risk roles. They performed continuous disinfecting tasks in high-traffic areas in buildings after COVID cases arose. These members carefully, continuously, courageously, diligently, and valiantly entered infected buildings in order to eliminate COVID and never complained. I want to thank you, and I also want to thank all the custodial warehouse department and staff for effectively and efficiently delivering the needed disinfecting and cleaning supplies to our campuses, and showing your love and care for our kids. Thank you. Come on now.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias, Ángeles. Muchas gracias, Miss. Sí. Muchas gracias. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. The next recognition is recognition of top performing campuses on the Reading Renaissance program for the 5th 6 weeks, 6th 6 weeks, and the school year. Dr. Magda Villarreal, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, will do this award. Thank you, Dr. Villarreal.
Good afternoon, Madam Board President, Dr. Science, ladies and gentlemen of the board and school community. LJISD recognizes that the ability to read is an essential skill that is vital to the learning of our students. As a district, we have allocated time and resources to ensure students are reading every day. Administration would like to recognize the campuses that have demonstrated outstanding performance in the use of Reading Renaissance program as identified in the word count reading report. This afternoon, we would like to recognize the top performing campuses on the Reading Renaissance program for the 5th 6 weeks, 6th 6 weeks, and school year. For the 5th 6 weeks, we would like to recognize Dr. Erica Gonzalez, principal at Paderes Elementary. Ms. Belen Martinez, principal at Memorial Middle School. Mr. Leonel Perez, principal at Palmview High School. And joining us today, we have Mr. Victor Rodriguez, principal at Telma Salinas STEM Early College High School. We also have for the 6th 6 weeks, we would like to recognize Dr. Erica Gonzalez, principal at Paderes Elementary. We also have Mr. Rolando Rios, principal at Chavez Middle School. We also have Mr. Leonel Perez, principal at Palmview High School, and Ms. Claudia Gomez Perez, principal at Jimmy Carter Early College High School. So these are the principals for the 6th 6 weeks and their campuses that are being recognized. So congratulations, principals. And now for the 21-22 school year, we would like to recognize Dr. Erica Gonzalez, principal at Paderes Elementary. We also have Ms. Belen Martinez, principal at Memorial Middle School. She's back. We have Mr. Leonel Perez, principal at Palmview High School. And for the early college high schools, we have Ms. Claudia Gomez Perez, principal at, like I said, Jimmy Carter Early College High Schools. So we do want to congratulate these principals and their staff for the great job that they've been doing for promoting literacy. So thank you so much to all our principals and our students for doing an outstanding job. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, principals, and thank you for all your work. That concludes the superintendent's report. Dr. Benavides.
At this time, thank you, Dr. Sines. Congratulations to all that were recognized this evening. I know it's a special night for La Joya ISD. Thank you to everyone, and thank you for all the work that you do. We're going to take a 10-minute recess at this time. That way, members of the community and the audience get a chance to congratulate Dr. Zamora. You can have cake and punch, and in 10 minutes, we'll continue our meeting. So we will recess at 6:33. We'll continue our meeting at 6:48. Next item on the agenda is discussion item, presentation on La Joya ISD school safety procedures, resources, and trainings.
Good evening, school board members, Madam President, Madam Superintendent, and the community. Safety in our schools. Under the command of Police Chief Raul Gonzalez, we are here today to present an insight of safety procedures, resources, and training. So how are we preparing? We're preparing through training. Back in Columbine in 1999, the school districts went into a training known as SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics. And that was our training back then from 2001 to about 2008. The issue with that is that when we do a SWAT training, we have to wait for other officers to get on site to make entry. So in 2009, we came out with the SRT, the Special Response Training. This training consists from 1 officer to 6 officers. So in the event there's an active shooter situation, if there is 1 officer on site, that officer will react to the threat. And those are the trainings that we are doing to this day. Some of the other trainings that we are offering our officers are tactical first aid, vehicle roadside tactics, officer safety, crisis intervention training, threat assessment, and mental health. Some of the equipment that our officers carry on them, of course, our handgun, which is on our uniform. We also have assault rifles, shotguns, ballistic shields, ballistic body armor, and the tactical trauma bags with first aid. Back in January 2020, TCO, the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, came out with the active shooter response for school-based law enforcement. I would say that 95% of our officers already have taken this course. And this is the same course throughout the state of Texas that all officers are required to take. It's a mandated course. TCO requires that the officers have 40 hours of training every 2 years. But here at the school district, at the police department, we go over and beyond. Our officers per year train about 50 to 100 training hours. So in a 2-year span, we're looking at between 140 to 240 training hours. So what is our mission here at the police department? The mission of the La Jolla ISD Police Department is to protect the safety and welfare of all students, district personnel, and district property. I want to stress priority. Our priority is the safety and welfare of all students. So let's look at the La Jolla ISD police officers and security officers. The La Jolla ISD Police Department is currently composed of 59 police officers and 26 security officers. The department boundaries extend from the west side of Inspiration Road to West Hidalgo Star County line, and from the Rio Grande River north to 14-mile line. As we can see, that's a lot of area to cover. We're looking at about 226 square miles. The police department oversees 5 high schools, 2 early college schools, 1 academy for health science professions, 8 middle schools, and 22 elementaries. Now let's look at the La Jolla ISD Campus Crime Stopper Program. It's an incredible program. We got so much information, so many tips from this program. Its inception was back in 2002. Since then, the La Jolla Crime Stopper Program has awarded more than over 80,000 in Crime Stopper tips. Over $229 have been recovered in stolen property. More than 30 weapons have been seized. And we also receive an average of 100 Crime Stopper tips a year, and about 70% have been awarded. We also have the P3 system. The P3 system is an app that all students can download for free, and it helps because that's where they give us all the information. Students could just type through the app, anonymous, and give us that information to the police department. The board consists of students from the high schools, school personnel, and also the school district police department. We have other safety protocols in place, and this is where my partner, David Nacenciano, Emergency Management Coordinator, will explain further. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Once again, Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Science, good afternoon, and of course the community and those viewing from home. Moving forward, a lot of the resources that we have in our schools and of course our district buildings is what we know as the access control system. What it is basically an intercom with a buzzard that allows us, staff, district employees, keep control of who comes in and out. Again, this is a system that's been in place for many, many years now, and of course before my time, and we continue to enforce and make sure that all buildings, especially our schools, continue to enforce this system. The Raptor system, as we know it, the Raptor system, which is a visitor management system, so all those visitors, parents, even school employees that go and visit a campus or any department that is or departments. Not all of our schools have this system. Our departments, not all of them, but it's something that we're working on and looking into, of course, to see if it's cost effective for the school district to implement this to all of our departments. But the Raptor system, it is something that is very effective. All visitors that go into our schools sign in. They must provide an ID, show of proof of a Texas ID or any valid ID. They're scanned. Excuse me. They scan your Texas issued ID with the Raptor system, and of course, it'll give us a breakdown of the individual to see if we have anyone that might be a sex offender or is has any criminal history. Once identified, it is handled at the administrative level at the campus, and that is where, in this case, a principal, for example, makes a decision as in if they allow the visitor to continue being in campus, of course being escorted by someone, or if they call PD and will assist with the escorting. Most of the time it's parents, they just go in, they check out their students, and of course they don't go past the front lobby. La Joya ISD surveillance systems, that is also something, or another one of our resources that we have in place at all of our schools and our buildings, departments, to include central office. This system, at our 3 comprehensive high schools, this system, of course, it's more high-tech, for lack of better terms, which, of course, that's where we have the biggest student population. But all of our schools, middle schools, elementaries, and of course, our academies and comprehensive high schools, every single campus is equipped with surveillance cameras. Some have more, some have less, but I know we are looking into trying to see if there's grant funding out there that we may apply for as a school district to continue providing more cameras to our campuses, those that might lack some. Here's another image. I believe we have Memorial Middle School and Palmview High School, as y'all can see those. So we've got the main entrances to the buildings, the outer perimeter, of course, to see if at any point we'd have to go back and play back video in case we were to ever have a situation. God willing, we never will. So one of the departments that also has cameras in their, I guess, buses, in this case, transportation department is equipped. Each bus, as of yesterday, confirming with Mr. Raul Gonzalez, transportation director, each bus is equipped with 3 cameras. Those aren't interfaced with our network system within the school district, but of course we do have access to it. We would have to go back into the bus and retrieve any footage as needed. There has been instances and cases, but of course we would go to the supervisors or directors for the department, and they'll assist with providing footage if needed. Another resource, again, something that's been in place and is required by TEA and our Texas School Safety out of San Marcos, that every school district, charter schools in the state of Texas have in place, is the Multi-Hazard Emergency Operations Plan. And really quick, a breakdown of the different items that this operations plan for the district has is hazardous materials incident procedures, parent-student reunification procedures, hazardous materials incident procedures, evacuating the special needs population, which is something very important, like everything else, fire procedures, flood procedures, and communication and collaboration during natural disasters. Again, this is something that's updated yearly. We go back and always review and make sure that everything is reviewed and of course updated as needed. One of our newer projects, and when I say our, the school districts, are security gates. That's something that approximately about a year and a half ago, 2 years pre-pandemic, when we started implementing these security gates at all of our schools. There has been some hiccups. I know we've gotten the complaints, but all that is being addressed as of yesterday. Again, one of our other committee meetings that we had, we did advise that we were at about 80%, that we had addressed about 80% of all the issues with pertaining to these security gates. Again, that's one of our newer projects for our school district. And last, but not least, our police emergency alarms. This is something that is very important. Today we finalized all walkthroughs to all 3 comprehensive high schools and 8 of our middle schools that we installed this system. Very similar to a fire alarm system, but of course this would notify police personnel. Of course, us here at La Joya ISD and surrounding agencies, depending what campus, what city the campus is located in. But once again, similar to fire alarms, we would get dispatch in case an intruder were to come into any one of our schools. Something very important to note that this system, we started implementing it through Chief Gonzalez, and of course our superintendent, prior our pandemic. I go back to our records emails that were being shared at the time, and it was November of 2019 when we started implementing. A lot of people say, well, La Joya ISD is reacting to the unfortunate situation over at Uvalde County, but no, it is something to note that we started with this project. Unfortunately, COVID came around, everything was put at a standstill. March of 2020, schools shut down, and everything, to include this project, was placed at a standstill. Again, we brought it before the board, it got approved when the funding, of course this is a 100% grant funding, so in November we got approved through a board, we got the funding, and today we finalized and concluded all walkthroughs, and the system is 100% operational. Again, at 3 comprehensive high schools and 8 of our middle schools. So yes, it's something that we wanted to share and make it known that it was something we're working on, but unfortunately COVID came around and it was placed at a standstill, but yes. I know, again, through our superintendent and our grant department, they are applying for different grants to continue, and so that we can hopefully find the funding to equip our elementaries and any other schools or academies that we may have left out this go around. So hoping that sooner rather than later we can allocate the funding to continue with this project. That is the end of our presentation. Any questions?
About how many are we installing in every high school?
Approximately between 40 and 50, depending on each high school. Ms. Hernandez, I'm going to say Palmview High School is the biggest one, maybe Juarez Lincoln, our newer campuses. So yeah, they're closer to the 50, but La Joya High School as well. They're in between 40 and 50. And we're looking at about 30 and 40 at each of our middle schools. Approximately.
I have a comment on that. I just, maybe, Mr. Licencia, I know we can do a study to see how much it would cost us to install in our elementary, since most of our shootings have happened in elementaries. We would like to see if we can afford it, why not install it in our elementaries as well? Maybe like more or less like a study to see how much it would cost us, and then we can take it from there as a best.
As mentioned, we are looking for funding, hoping we can allocate monies for this project. But as a matter of fact, today, finishing the walkthroughs to this project, I did meet, so we're scheduled to conduct walkthroughs in our elementaries this coming week. A lot of our elementaries have the same floor plan, but a lot of them are, the older schools, they're somewhat different. So yeah, we'd have to conduct a single, individual walkthrough at each single campus. But yes, we're looking into that, sir, and we'll provide that information.
Thank you.
As we go.
Did you say that they, when you pull that alarm, it'll notify La Joya ISD police and police at the city, wherever the school is at?
That is correct. That's and I believe there's an agenda item where here in today's meeting for approval to allow us to work with neighboring agencies and departments.
But does it alarm the city?
Oh yes,
police?
Yes, Dr. Science. Yeah,
yes.
You are correct, Dr.
Like who does it alarm when
so,
it's pulled?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, Dr. Benedict.
No, my question was, what's the protocol? Because if it's going to sound the alarm and La Joya ISD police is going to go and the city of La Joya is going to go, so what's the protocol once the police respond, the district and the city?
Yes, so we would be primary. Now, when I say we La Joya ISD Police Department, we would be primary at all times. Then whatever corresponding agency, they would be secondary.
And you just install them, so I don't expect you to have had, but will you have had training to understand if this happens, we're going to respond, and this is going to be the communication that we're going to have with the city, because everybody's going to show up, and I just want to make sure that we're going to use them to the best that we can and utilize it, and not create, there's a lot of personnel responding, but what do we do next?
Yes, correct. And that is something that we've discussed with Chief Gonzalez, and yes, we were just waiting for the project to be complete. Coming up here in the next couple of weeks or so, Chief Gonzalez should be setting up those trainings with the agencies. And the agency would include, of course, Sullivan City, La Joya, Pinitas, Palmview, Alton, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, and Constable Gallardo with the Constable's Department. So it'll be all those agencies. And of course, we here at La Joya ISD Police Department, we'd be primary.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
No, just a comment. I know that I didn't see it here, but I know that years back we also improved communication when it comes to our communication between our
That is something that we did not include, Mr. Cantu, but that is correct. That is a system that was implemented as well. And if need to, we can come back and provide information on that.
I just want the public to know that we also, because there was a lot of complaints about, back then, not about communication, that in schools we weren't able to communicate, that the signal was off. And as a district, we were proactive at the time and invested in a new communication system to make sure that everybody was on the same page and everybody could hear everybody else in case of an emergency. Hopefully it never happens, but
Yes, correct. And yes, certainly in our committee meeting, and Dr. Saenz and a couple of our assistant superintendents, they were part of this committee meeting, and that was something that was brought up. Texas Department of Public Safety, or known as DPS, they were there, and if you recall, Dr. Saenz, they mentioned like how can we intercommunicate with other outside agencies. So that's something that we're looking into as well. We have different radio systems, different frequencies, but maybe it's cost effective for the school district to try to either obtain their system for the police department or maybe find other avenues to be able to communicate with outside agents.
Yes. Well, we appreciate that, Mr. Nascenseno, and going back, just thanking you and your department and Chief Gonzalez as well. I know that we have made a lot of improvements as far as like the ones you mentioned here, the gates, the communication system, these alarms. Have you guys met to discuss after, what happened, the unfortunate tragedy that just occurred? Have you guys met to discuss what else we can do? What else, like just to analyze, is there other safety measures we can improve? What else? I know I mentioned in the last meeting that I would love, to have security or police officers at our elementaries, but aside from that, is there other things you've talked about or things we can look at?
And yes, we did. Chief Gonzalez did call a meeting. What was it, Captain? That is maybe 2 days after the incident, or a day or 2 days after the incident, and with his administrative team, to include myself and Captain Perez. And yes, there's a lot I'd like to share. I don't think it's my place. I think it'd be something Chief Gonzalez should share with the board and the superintendent. But yes, to answer your question, there was a meeting, and there's a lot coming here for the new school year that through Chief Gonzalez and the police department we're going to be implementing at the campuses, of course.
So we will have Chief Gonzalez present on that list of improvements or increased safety precautions that we will work on during the summer. And also, we did have a security task force meeting yesterday with many different law enforcement partners. And during that discussion, more suggestions and ideas came up that we will be incorporating in that plan, and also making a collaborative plan with neighboring law enforcement as a result of yesterday's conversation.
That is correct. Any questions?
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
If not, thank you. Thank you for keeping our kids and our staff safe.
Thank you, Dr. Menendez and board, and Dr. Saenz, and members of the committee.
We'll move on to consent agenda. I'd like for us to pull out D1. Any other item that needs to be pulled out? If not, I'll entertain a motion for consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Under A, I'd like a motion to take no action for number 1 and number 2.
So move.
Motion has been made. Do I
Second.
have a second? Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under contracts, number 5, amendment to memorandum of understanding between La Jolla ISD Police Department and local county and state enforcement agencies.
So move.
Motion has been made by Mr. Cantu. I'll take a second from Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Dr. Benavides, on 6, it's also no action because it also has to do with the Lone Star governance training on June 24th.
So move and no action for number 6.
No action for number 6. Motion has been made by Mr. Cantu. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hernandez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Number 7, approval of 2022-2023 Texas Regional Pathways Network Partnership Agreement.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Ochoa, second by Dr. Cantu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. On D1, approval of Lone Star governance training for the Board of Trustees and Superintendent to attend the Woodsboro, and we won't need to be attending, so we need to take no action. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Okay, motion has been made by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 2, under Business and Finance, approval of application and certificate for payment for contractor's fee number 8 for La Jolla Football Stadium's turf and track renovations project.
So move.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Hernandez, second this one. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Number 3, approval to commence procurement process for La Jolla ISD ESSER funds, inclusive playground equipment project through purchasing cooperatives.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Dr. Cantu, second by Ms. Hernandez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On number 4, approval to set date, time, and place for a public meeting to discuss the 2022-2023 budget and 2022 proposed tax rate.
So move.
Motion has been made by Ms. Ochoa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cantu. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Requesting authorization number 5 of a special warranty gift deed donation from La Jolla ISD to the City of La Jolla for the expansion of public roadways.
So move on item 5 and 6.
Second.
Second, on number 5, we did say that it be included in the agreement that just so long as La Jolla, the City of La Jolla doesn't change the name of Coyote Drive or Coyote Boulevard, or you're okay with that, Mr. Casanova? Very good.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor.
So move on item 5 and 6.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Cantu and second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Number 7, approval to commence procurement process for La Jolla ISD Stadium scoreboard upgrades from purchasing cooperatives.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion on 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Second.
Motion has been made on items 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And we have a second by Ms.
I second.
You second, Ms. Ochoa? Perfect. Motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Ms. Ochoa. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. I would like to take the opportunity, if there's members of the family of Mr. Leo Garza, if you could please stand to be recognized, since we just named the La Jolla ISD Baseball Complex. We would also like to recognize the relatives of Juan Jose Kilo Juan Morales, because the police department building will be named after him. Mr. Morales and your wife, would you please stand and be recognized? We will have the right ceremonies at another time for both projects. Under Human Resources, number 1, Approval of 2022-2023 school year staffing allocation guidelines.
So move on items 1 and 2.
Motion has been made by Mr. Cantu,
Second?
second by Dr. Cantu. I would like to amend on the staffing guidelines. I would like to amend this motion to include that the administration look for at least 18 positions that we could hold off in filling, so that we can have 18 police officers in our elementary schools, and that the 4 that we approve in the staffing allocations be assigned to elementary schools. Do I have a second on that amendment?
Yes.
Second.
Yes.
So a motion has been made and amended by Mr. Cantu and myself, and then second by Ms. Ochoa and Dr. Cantu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'd like to go into executive session at 7:18 under Government Code 551.074, 551.071, and 551.072 at 7:18. We're out of executive session at 8:30.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 1 through 10 as discussed in executive session.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion has been made by Mr. Cantu, second by Mrs. Hernandez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Motion has been made by Mr. Cantu, second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Cantu. All those in favor to adjourn say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at
8:31.
8:31 p.m. Thank you.